Welcome back, as even promised. My name is Kendall Makhamati, but I've got a whole lot of sporting action to bring to you in terms of news. Now, first up, we start off with how amazing it was that Pakistan won the match that they have, beating India, defying all odds to take on the final of the IC Champions Trophy. Now, they defied the odds to defeat India in the final of the IC Champions Trophy, the Oval in London. Pakistan posted a mammoth 338 for 4 in their 50 overs after being invited to bat thanks to a maiden one-day ton from Fakhar Zaman. Now, Pakistan's bowlers bundled out the hapless India for just 158 runs, well inside the 50 overs for a stunning 180-run victory. India had won the toss and invited Pakistan to bat first. Azhar Ali pitched in with a half-century at the top of the order, but it was Fakhar Zaman who was the mainstay of their innings. He made his debut for Pakistan against South Africa in the group stages of the competition and brought up his maiden ODI century of just a mere 92 deliveries, as his side were coasting on 182 for 1. Now, the rest of the batters also pitched in as Pakistan scored a massive 338 for 4, the highest total of the tournament. Pakistan seamer Mohammad Amir gave his side just about the perfect start with the ball. India were in serious trouble on 54 for 5, still needing 285 runs for victory. Even a half-century from Hardik Pandya could not stop the inevitable. Pakistan bundled out the Indians for 158 to claim a superb 180-run victory to lift the 2017 Champions Trophy. Now, with that said, the Springboks also did the unbelievable and won their match against France 2 weeks in a row, taking the series 2-0. Now, after that win, the Springboks, Frans Malherbe and Oupa Mohoje have been issued Citing Commissioner warnings for foul play in the second test against France at Kings Park. Now, these sightings are just going to go on their records and they will not be kept from playing. But now, not to spoil a great party, because the Springboks did do the job. The Springboks did do what we all wanted them to do and beat the French 2 weeks in a row, making the last match a dead rubber. Now, with me to chat over the weekend is Jody Hendricks, SABC and RSG Sports analyst. Good morning.
Good morning, Kendall.
And thanks so much for coming back.
Always good being here.
Jody, we finally get to talk some good news about the Springboks.
Kendall, it took us a whole year, but finally some positives coming out of the Springbok camp. And it just shows you, if you had to compare 2017 to 2016, Alistair got the job 2 months ahead of the series against Ireland. He got the team 2 weeks. Preparation was basically non-existent. This year, he had 4 training camps. He had the guys for 2 weeks in played before the series against France, and it's showing off. 2-0 series win against France with 1 test to go in Johannesburg this week. Not forgetting the Bospirade that he had with all those coaches, and finally getting it right that all the Super Rugby coaches are on side, bringing new coaching personnel, which I think for me is one of the things that we really need to talk about as well, because he's got Franco Smith, he's got Brendan Fenter, and these are 2 linchpins really in the way the Boks look this year. And again, it showed that we lacked depth, we lacked expertise in certain areas, and we got that now. Franco did a good job with the backline. The backline's finally playing well again. Defensively, I think that's the thing that stood out for me the past 2 weeks, is that last year we didn't chop and change our defensive coaches, and we could see it this year. You know, it's a different story, and I think credit needs to go with the planning to Alistair Coetzee for what he's achieved this year, and it just shows if he had done this last year, we could have had a better 2016. You talk about the defense. I mean, at one point, I think on the screen came up a little flash, a little tile that said 27 phases, 28 phases that we defended and and withstood the French at their best. Yeah, and we all know, you know, once the French start attacking, that's probably when they're most dangerous. We talk about them leaking tries a lot, but when they're on attack, Kendall, they're probably one of the best teams in the world, and the defense stood still. And man on man, that was the thing. Nobody missed a tackle. Man on man tackles were made, and that you know, was probably just as impressive as the attacking rugby that we saw from the Springboks. Yeah, actually, I had a look at the stats. You talk about missing tackles. I had a look at the stats post the match, and it seemed as if we got some 169 tackles. We missed, I think it was 16 or something. So 1 out of 10 tackles missed in a match of this intensity. That is kudos to, yes, the coaching staff, absolutely, but kudos to the players themselves. They stood up.
and actually wanted to be counted as Springboks on that day.
Yeah, I think Frans Malherbe and Franco Moster, between the two of them, probably made 45 tackles. So it just shows that, you know, the flankers who normally make the most tackles in the game, the guys covered for them, and that's what I spoke about, the one-on-one tackling. Also in the backline, remember the backline of the French attacked our backline a lot, and our backline also stood up to that. And I think going forward, I think there's still one or two things the Boks need to tweak going forward, maybe to the last days in looking at the Rugby Championship. But the platform that's been set so far in 2017, I think we can just improve and improve better.
And now, would you think anything needs to be changed from this side? I mean, Elton Jantjies was sublime. Elton Jantjies was the general that we expect of a fly half, of a top-tier nation. He stood up to be counted. He slotted his goals. He made the right decisions. He was getting great service from his forwards and his scrummy, and actually his distribution and his decision-making was on point.
Look, last year everybody wanted Elton to perform well, and I think he's under pressure as well. Remember, Pat Lambie and Andre Pollard's still going to come back and probably be in the Springbok mix, so he needs to stamp his authority on that number 10 jersey if he wants to be the #1 fly in South Africa for the rest of 2017. But we've been waiting for him for so long to do what he's been doing at the Lions, to do it for the Springboks, and he's done it this past 2 games. And I think it's going to take a very special performance from Andre Pollard or Pat Lambie to unseat Elton at number 10 for the Springboks, because I think he is by far the best fly-off in South Africa at the moment. And it also shows something he couldn't do last year, Kendall, was the difference in Elton Jantjies as a player when he plays behind a winning pack.
Yeah, absolutely. But I've got a sense that the way this team has gelled together, the way they've clicked, the way they communicate, because it was clear they're definitely communicating with each other. From Malcolm Marx to Warren Whiteley, Jan Serfontein, throughout the 15-man team, including the substitutes that came on, the communication was spot on. They spoke to each other. They made sure they covered each other and worked as a unit.
The interaction between forwards and backs also phenomenal. I think probably right up there with the All Blacks at the moment. But also it comes down back to the planning phase. Alistair couldn't do this last year. He basically selected a team and hoped they would win. I don't think any of the Springboks last year in 2016 went out to lose a game, but also he didn't reward form. I think there was no reason why a guy like Courtnall Skosan couldn't play for the Springboks in 2016 and build up experience, and now in 2017 he's got his chance and he's performing well, and he looks quite comfortable at home with the number 11 jersey. And I think it's only quite difficult for somebody like a JP Peterson or Brian Abana with 80, 90, 100 tests in the case of Brian Abana to come back and claim the number jersey from you if the guys that are there at the moment are playing like this, Kendall, because Test rugby is about winning your games. So why would you want to change if you are winning? Stick with the same side that did the job for you in the past to Test. Bring in a couple of guys with more experience maybe for the Rugby Championship and take it from there. Win every game as it comes and don't make unnecessary changes.
Jules, before I let you go, I need to ask you in closing, just one or two lines about Pakistan crushing India, something that we need to cover in depth, but we can't right now.
Phenomenal. I think it's probably a turning point for one-day international cricket, especially if you take that the two, enemies, basically. They don't play in each other's countries a lot, and I think for a team like Pakistan, who's renowned for their bowling, to score 338 in their 50 overs
against
India, and then to bowl it side out like India for 158, that's a phenomenal. And I think I hope they can put this forward going to the World Cup. And also congrats to Mickey Arthur, the former Proteas coach, for winning an international tournament.
Something to talk about. There's definitely a talking point there that Mickey Arthur, South African, wins with Pakistan but couldn't do it with South Africa.
Or with Australia.
Or with Australia. Jody Hendricks, thank you so much for coming through. Really not enough time. Definitely need to ask you to come back again to chat a little bit more about the cricket as well. And we really appreciate your input.
Thank you.
Jody Hendricks, SABC and RRC Sport analyst and commentator, as well as presenter, talking to us about some of what happened over the weekend. We'll be back shortly. You're watching Newsroom. Stay close. Don't go anywhere.